Get ready, go! A complete traffic jam surges forward in a haze of exhaust and tyre smoke. Next few minutes, bedlam as they sort themselves out. Watch them use the inside grass. This is a place where patience pays off. There's all day to go. Last through, Fiat 850, Heffernan at the wheel. Top of Mountain Straight, Sutherland, Gagan, Needham, Studi, McPhee, Brown and Seaton in 3 white Cortinas. Jane around 12th as the roaring Maynard heads up for the cutting. An insurance nightmare as each man stares at the bumper bar just ahead. Into the S's, Sutherland, Gagan, Weldon, McPhee, Seaton, Brown. Watch as the traffic jam sorts itself out. They all did around the 100 down Conrad, and Studi 2 has a lead of 30 yards on Gagan's Cortina 1. Then 40 yards to Weldon in Studi 10. McPhee's white Cortina, Seaton in 11, Brown, Lindsay, Jane, Foley and McKinnon. That's Barnes in Mini 27. Mudguard scraping wheel, the only modification. Two still in front. 10 has overtaken Gagan. Then McPhee, Cortina 4, 80 yards ahead of the field. This breakaway was more or less as expected. The Studebakers, knowing they'd spend more time in the pits, trying to get well out in front. They thought those 17.5 gallons would hold the Cortinas back. But despite 120 mile an hour down Conrad, they're right there, Gagan close. McPhee's boot lid is up. Will cost him 30 seconds and 1,000 yards at least. Little and Pomeroy off to Bathurst. Now Weldon has passed the police Studebaker and is setting a fantastic pace. Where they go goes Gagan. The marshal's overtaking flag works overtime as the Coopers show their teeth. Barnes, Seaton, Foley, Jane. The 3 front runners open a longer gap. Jane's Cortina has moved to 4th ahead of Foley's Cooper. Next Barnes, who must be a lap behind after banging that fence, and Seaton running 7th. It was obvious the pace was too hot to last. They couldn't keep it going for 7 hours, but it was a battle for supremacy, no one giving an inch. They're lapping 12 seconds faster than last year, and after only half an hour, the police Studebaker develops a wobble and uses common sense to make a change. Next casualty, lap 10, Barnes again, this time with a busted harmonic balancer. You wouldn't think he could get into a Mini Cooper. 2 laps later, real trouble up top. Look at the bank on the right. That's Seaton pulling out and Mini 20 Lindsay on the left. The Mini bounced back from the fence, hit Seaton, then slid back into the hot spot for cars racing out of the elbow. One look at that Mini can cause trouble in a split second. Russell, Triumph 2000, petrifying spot to wait for the green lights. Watch him bore it in and lose some rubber. Down below again, and a broken valve spring puts Ron Clark on his feet. Trouble coming thick and fast. A truck full of men with a busy day ahead. Lap 16 and Weldon has built up a 15-second lead in the big Studi, but he's got troubles. Behind him a battle royal between Jane and Foley. Gagan in 1 running 4th. End of lap 16, not yet 10 o'clock, and Weldon pays the price of front running. Flat out everywhere, took a thumping through the dipper and the S's, developed wheel shudder and changed drums for safety. 10 minutes lost. Safe now to look at 20 back of the pits. A lot to be said for safety glass and belts. Out there, the Cortina Mini battle's in full swing. Jane, Gagan and Foley, then 3 more Minis, with 2 white Cortinas, believing that the prize is not always to the quickest. Gagan and Foley have swapped positions, but Jane still makes the running. By now, those front runners have lapped the tail 3 times. The rest have settled down to a class battle. 42 is 3rd Class B, but in too great a hurry. And the Valiant finds it tough to sit behind the Lark. Still they hurtle round, lapping at about 3:14, with Foley trying to get in front of Jane. Next lap he makes it as they pull out of the cutting. Now it's Jane's turn to shadow Foley. Gagan still third. Look out for the lark. Gave Cusack and McKinnon a tense moment, to say nothing of Fred Sutherland. 2 laps later, and McKinnon up with Foley in front. Jane drops back for a while. Class B, 40, the Focus Ford Cortina leads from Mini 37, doomed to wheel trouble. 11:30. In the same class are the 3 Coronas making their racetrack debut. They topped 100 in the Flying Eighth and a 2nd, 4th, 5th, Class B. The Humber Vogue was in trouble most of the day. He comes back alongside Bill McLaughlin, M53 3rd, Class A, 2 other Cortinas ahead of him. Out in front, it's still a changing pattern, although McKinnon stays on Foley's tail. Marchiori in the middle is a lap behind, but Gagan has taken Jane and Cusack. There'll be some changes made. Ian Gagan is not going as well as he'd like to and shoots into the pit area, reporting loss of power. Their Armstrong bogey looms up. He went out again for 2 laps while pit crew prepared to clean his carburetor and get new plugs. That second stop was 7.5 minutes, a total of 10, or 3 laps drag when he flew out again. The public needed a crystal ball to know what was happening around now. McKinnon and Cusack 30 and 24 shot into for petrol, so did Foley in 29. The Cooper S carries 11 gallons, which means at least 1 more pit stop than the Cortina. Suddenly, Jane was alone in front and going like a rocket. The road seemed open for Cortina's 4th and Jane's 5th laurel. There's proof that seat belts are lifesavers. Driver not hurt. It was caused by a busted wheel, and the passing cars don't seem to be going quite so fast. The prang is a shock for Bellet 32 and a headache for the Mini 44, Harvey Stewart. Nearly 12 o'clock, Jane well clear. A lap in front of 3 tagging him, Foley, Cusack, McPhee. 11's in the same lap as Jane, but further back. McKinnon changed tires and is behind. That 10-minute lag made it hard to follow Gagan's position. Suddenly he shot into the pits again, losing another 3 minutes with a dropped exhaust pipe. A little over 4 hours to go as Leo takes her out. He wants to get a better view of real trouble. Watch the Viva 58. A frightening sight for Cusack, but believe it or not, no one hurt. Viva last safety belt. Kavanagh quite okay, but puzzled. Never rains, but it pours. 3 minutes later, and Jane is out, putting an end to any chance of his 5th Armstrong in a row. He was lapping just over 3:15, average just around 70 miles an hour, and now serious engine trouble. ARDC boys quickly on the job. He certainly can't stop there. Note how the windscreen popped out. SOS for the tow wagon. That leaves 11, Seaton Bosworth in front, going very steady. Seaton is lapping around 3:17. Has never been worse than 7th and is a lap ahead of 4, rival McPhee, in 2nd spot outright. More trouble up top. Triumph 2000 rolled in the dipper. Time 12:41, lap 16, nearly halfway. The driver gets through the windscreen. Ankle trouble, but not badly hurt. If you want to modify a vehicle, how about this for head clearance? Goodbye. Genuine low mileage, driven 1 weekend only. Now comes the Mount Panorama report on class positions. Class A, 54, Morris and Marr are in front, 5 laps behind Seaton. Firth and Rayburn, 45, are in the same lap as 54, and these two have been having a ding-dong battle since the start. Both confident they have the measure of Mini Deluxe, Fiat and Viva. For third, a rare go between Cortina's 47 and 53. The circuit is 3.8 miles and all lapping under 3:39. Ferguson Smith 42 leads Class B, but not by the length of pit straight from Cortina 40, Focus and Scott. Behind them, in 3rd spot, is the first Toyota, number 36, Abbott and Sampson. Ford and BMC efficiency and determination were clear from the start, but it was around lap 70 that the Coronas drew attention. All 3 were topping 100 down Conrad, and reliability had brought them to 3rd, 4th and 5th Class B. Brakes holding well and are adjusted before getting back into the fray. When Manton took over from Foley at 12:21, they left 24 Cusack in front of Class C. His best lap time was 3:13.9, a 1/10 of a second slower than the Gagans and a 5th behind Foley Manton. But this front-running position was short-lived. There was an obvious petrol leak which took him into the pits, lap 75. That left 18 in front of Class C, Stanley and Satch. The Cusack fuel tank was siphon trouble, cost 12 minutes. Time to change plugs. When he does get out, he's got to really move. The Foley-Manton car is 3rd Class C, but moving up. Hogkirk is a lap behind. Here comes Seaton, 1st D-Class and outright, still purring round in 3:17. McPhee in 4 is 2nd, and ready to take the 4th baton if Seaton has trouble. Creditable 3rd Class D, veterans McLaughlin and Murray around 3:19, faster than several younger men in the same car. Age brings wisdom, but it doesn't destroy skill. That sounds glorious, but on the fence is always a dry argument. Want to make friends? Bring glasses, pipeline, pressure gauge, temperite, and a non-drinking driver. He can always watch the race. Every now and then they get a rude awakening. Stewart did this. Must have seen that keg. How blasé can you get? And or Forrest been up to the bank. Haven't a clue what he stopped for, but he shouldn't really. You know, there's cars everywhere. One safe place. 18, Stanley Satch lost it, trying to keep ahead of Manton Foley. 23, Humber Vogue, Barnett or Johnston. Forgotten something. We should stress that constant braking had put a film of rubber on Forrest Elbow, a likely place to bend one any minute. There he goes again, becoming the Vogue, but a dangerous habit. Cooper 33, Clark or Prisk, headed for the pits with a broken valve spring. Transmission trouble? No. A visit to the boot for Shoesmith, Beaver number 52. Every year the Armstrong gets faster and tougher to win. This year, wheel trouble was the most common. Certainly it held back the big Studebakers. You've got your troubles and I've got mine. Out in front, the picture is still the same. Two Cortinas, Seaton and McPhee, both trouble-free. Then the Minners. Since lap 57, there was drama in the Gagan brothers' struggle to peg back that 10-minute delay. Circling around 3:14, they were gaining nearly 5 seconds per lap. Then, at 2:42, he was reported for engine running during fuel intake. If correct, there was only one penalty, disqualification. Around 3 o'clock, he was black flagged. Told to protest, out again, but minus another 40 seconds. Not enough time, even if the protest upheld, and it wasn't. Probably Seaton Bosworth could have gone faster, but they had a good margin on 4, about a lap, and were taking it quietly. This is the peak tension time. McPhee knows the position clearly. Maclack Murray and Manton Foley right on his hammer. There's drama behind in B-Class too. The lone Cortina, Volker Scott, still in front by a minute only. His second pit stop and that car's thirsty. It's not Robinson Crusoe. Behind 43 Toyotas running second, third and fourth. An hour to go. 54, Morrison Marr, C-Class, lying second to Firth Raven, 45, which must pit any minute. But these two waste no time in there, both 54 and 45 in the same lap. Behind them, two more Cortinas, 53 and 43. Fever, Mini Deluxe and Fiat 850, not really in the hunt. Manton Foley, third outright, leader Class C, second Little Pomeroy, 21 on the same lap. Hopkirk McKinnon having a great battle with Stanley Satch, 18 for third. Class D is all Cortina, 11, 4, 12. Kagan still flying round like a man possessed. The outright position, 11, 4, 29. Seaton's taking it easy to ensure no accident. A lap ahead and the end near. Bart Moggridge waits for number 11. There he goes. That's the end, 4:16. 24 minutes faster than last year. 42 finished out of 53. Outright Seaton, McPhee, Foley. D-Class, Cortina 1, 2, 3. C, Cooper S 1, 2, 3. B, Cortina 1, Toyota 2 and 3. A, Cortina 1, 2, 3. Congratulations for 29-year-old Barry Seaton, the man who was second last year, and for his new co-driver, Midge Bosworth. This time, a perpetual Armstrong trophy for outright winner. A popular win, Modest Midge and Barry Seaton, polio victim as a child and staunch motorsport man for many years. The class winners, Scott, Volkers, Manton, Foley, Seaton, Bosworth, Rayburn, Firth. Those laurels, provisional only. All cars impounded, sealed and taken to Barry Gurdon's service floor. Here they're pulled apart to make sure they conform in every way to the maker's handbook.